It's the final percent. The final percent.
All right, this is Greg Kimball with the Final Percent podcast, and today is a pretty good day that I'm pretty thankful for. I want to talk about thankfulness because I think it's pretty applicable as to we just went through Thanksgiving, and some of the people out there were really, really close to me, and so they knew what was going on, but for the last week and a half, my niece has been in the hospital and was unable to wake up and was going through strokes, potential brain damage, and it was something that was, we absolutely feared the worst. And the doctor's prognosis many times were she could come back to us in weeks, months, but we're looking at far more than a year of recovery. But I want to talk about one of the things that happened as a result of this catastrophic event in our lives is our family started to come together. And oftentimes I think that it's really interesting how we react or we respond to these negative events. And if we're looking at things happening to us instead of happening for us, we tend to make bad things even worse. And one of the things that we were able to do as a family is we really started coming together, forgiving, letting things go, and rallying around one another. Because another thing that I noticed is everyone was going in by her bedside and everyone was trying to figure out how they personally were processing it. It's very interesting how one person's process can be so different than another's. And what I mean by that is we tend to want to feel things together. And so, for instance, my nephew, who everyone knows that I'm very close to, this is his sister, and he tends to withdraw a little bit. But I want to go get busy, and I wanted this, and I wanted him to be busy with me. And he just needed to try to process it, and he wanted to withdraw and go more internal. And a few things that I want to unpack here are, don't try to control other people's processes because they have to go through their own process. Otherwise, they're not processing, they're helping you process. So I want you to be aware of that when these catastrophic things happen in your life and people go into how the heck am I supposed to deal with this mode. The other thing that I want to talk about is, why do we always wait for the catastrophic things, the bad things, the terrible things to happen before we start really trying to repair our family, before we try to repair ourselves? And it happens in so many different ways. So, and I think maybe we should call this episode, what is your wake-up call? Is your wake-up call a story? Is your wake-up call something inspirational? Or is your wake-up call something bad? A lot of people who have heart attacks immediately start eating better, eating more vegetables, exercising, watching this, that, and the other, because, oh my gosh, mortality just became unbelievably real. I'm just inviting everybody to not wait until bad things happen to force you into trying to process, into trying to understand. And now my family is in this kind of precarious position because, I come from the best way to say it is an interesting family, isn't it? Salo out just back there smiling because he knows it's true. But the thing is we have an opportunity now, because my niece being so strong and being able to power through and recover I mean, and she's still got some stuff in a long road ahead, but I mean, she's witty. We were having conversations, and I mean, she's just funny as heck. And we have an opportunity now to play like it never happened, going back to not talking or holding grudges or this, that, and the other, or we have an opportunity to realize what the real focus in life is. And we are incredibly thankful to have her talking with us and joking with us, and some of the things that she's saying about the nurses and the doctors and the fact that she wants to go home is hilarious. But it is a very real thing that happened, because we visited her multiple times where if she did open her eyes, we did not, she couldn't track, she didn't know that we were there. And it was heartbreaking to watch. And most families that go through this, where they do come out of it, where it's not that terrible, terrible outcome, most families will start forgetting that the walls did come down and the walls get put back up. And I'm not saying that just play like nothing ever happened. All I'm saying is work through problems, not around problems. We just actually heard that saying in church, and I thought that that was such an incredible way to illustrate it, because a lot of people, oh, that person's a problem child, or that person's a problem to bring around, that person's a problem in this circumstance, and so they work around all these problems. We got to start working through problems. And so the whole point of this podcast is to invite people to not wait for that catastrophic wake-up call. Whether it's for you personally, to someone that you love, to a family member, we really are not promised tomorrow. And if you woke up on the right side of the dirt, as I like to say, then you should feel blessed, you should have joy in your heart, and you should understand that life truly is a wonderful blessing. And we need to treat life as such. And we need to understand what's important. We need to understand who we can be, and we need to understand that we should strive to be more than we were yesterday if we got to tomorrow. And so when those catastrophic moments happen and the walls start coming down because you realize what's actually important, I really invite you to keep building bridges and not walls. Keep fighting for what's possible. And don't be possibility biased and not fear biased. And you know what? Great families, great marriages, great relationships, great lives, they take a lot of work. And, you know, we've got to stay strong and understand that life is a blessing. When the wake-up calls come, use them as such and wake up. Use them as that alarm clock, because, and I don't know if you're spiritual or not, but I mean, for me, I think it's God sending me a wake-up call. And it's time to build. It's time to forgive. It's time to love. It's time to rally around one another. But you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for your wake-up call. You can get up. You can try. You can build bridges. It's just a decision. Don't wait for the catastrophic incident that forces you to make a decision. So, with that being said, this is the Final Percent podcast, and I am unbelievably thankful right now to have my family. We are closer now than we have been in a long time, and it's through the strength of my niece coming through this, and she has been a miracle ever since she came into this world, and she's still proving that she's a miracle, and our family is lucky to have her, and we are going to use this as a wake-up call. But it was just on my heart, and I want to have you guys understand you don't always need the wake-up call. It's just a decision away, and understand that you can make a difference in your life, and you can build bridges instead of walls. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much. I'm thankful for you. Thankful for my family. I'm thankful for this blessing called life.
It's the final final percent.